Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Hot Take, your sort of weekly pop culture show where we talk about whatever we want. I'm Luna,
And I'm Kate,
and
and this is Hot Take.
this is Hot Take. Oy,
Ah, it's been
oy.
a long week.
It's been a long week, even though the last time we did this was less than a week ago.
I know. We were here on Monday. We're
Yeah,
back again on Sunday.
yeah,
We have a really regular schedule. We're
yeah.
great.
I know it's super, super duper fun. Love it a lot. Sorry, I just gotta close all of these tabs that are causing problems on my device. Um, yeah, it's been a week, but you know what? We're here. The sun came out finally this week after we've had like rain, 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 rain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have not been having rain, but we did finally get the sun
yeah,
this week.
yeah.
How does it feel to have some vitamin D soaked into your skin? You feeling
Feels
good?
good. It feels real good. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. And now, of course, is because we're in April, so it's well into spring. But here in Los Angeles, that means, oh, it's time for summer. So it's slowly inching towards like 85, 90-degree weather.
Gross. You want to hear something absurd?
Sure.
It was 85 in Chicago yesterday. I went to the lake. It was lovely. A little hot, but it was lovely, right?
Mm
It's gonna snow tomorrow. And that face is the face I've been pulling since I figured out this news.
hmm. Ooh, that's not cute.
No,
I'm sorry. That sucks.
it's that fun time of year that every Midwesterner knows where you have to have both of your closets accessible at all times. You gotta have the winter stuff and the summer stuff because you really just, you don't know.
Yeah,
It's changing on an
you
hourly basis.
Yeah, you really don't know. Oh my gosh, my mom says I'm looking dapper. Thank you, Mom. Let me bring up the elephant in the room. Yes, I do look dapper. More so than
Is that
usual.
because you're going to Dapper Day?
Yes, it is.
And what is
um,
Dapper Day?
yes, I today. Well, you can't really tell because you can't see my blue pants. I'm giving Daphne right now from Scooby Doo, but I am technically a little green man from Toy Story, and I do have these fabulous, cute space earrings to complement
Um,
my fit. So, yes, I would stand up and show you my blue pants, but I really don't want to. You can
just know that they're
just
there.
know that they're
She is
there, and if
living.
you follow me on Instagram, I'm sure you'll see pictures later. So, yeah,
And if you don't follow her on Instagram, maybe you should.
yeah, exactly.
I know you want to see the little green man fit in
Yeah,
its full glory.
yeah. My last minute Dapper Day Disney Brown. But we're making it work. I think it looks good. So I'm excited.
Looking great.
I'm excited. Um but let's get into it. We got a really fun show for you today. I'm excited for today. Today our main topic, we're talking about What We Do in the Shadows, the film from 2014, not the TV show, but we will discuss the TV show a little bit. Um Back when Taika Waititi made good movies. So let's,
Luna has strong opinions today. Please be warned.
but before we get into all that, we've got something that's hot off the presses.
Yes.
Yeah, Kate.
Straight out of the Hollywood machine, baby.
Yeah.
Um, if you don't know, our friend, Blake, and I have been making a movie since 2021. I produced it, Blake directed it. It's a documentary about his hometown of Kansas City and the grief that the city was experiencing coming out of COVID and how that affected his grandmother's grieving because she lost her husband right before quarantine started. So she went through kind of this grieving process in isolation. And that movie is called The City of Dried Fountains, and it is out today.
Yay!
We have officially released it.
Yay!
A long time labor of love.
Yes.
We will link it on the Instagram, and we'll link it in the description of the video. But it is up on YouTube. There's also a bunch of little clips if you want to share them with your friends, fans, and family. We're very excited. It was a long time coming. We're glad that it's out there in the world. And I hope that if you get a chance to take a look at it, that you like it.
Yes. And
it's only an hour. So it's not too
only
long.
an hour, and it also premiered at the Kansas City Film Festival.
Yes.
On my birthday.
did.
So it was a very
Look at the
exciting
stars
day.
aligning.
Yeah. Look at
Everybody's celebrating.
that. Yes. Congrats. I am so happy for you guys and so proud of you guys. I know it's been a long time coming, and Blake's been working on this both of you have been working on this for forever. So I'm excited.
His baby.
Yes.
He's very excited to share it with the people.
Yes, I know. If his marketing methods provide any insight into how excited he is, yeah, he's very excited.
Which, by the way, if you have not followed TCODF, which is just at TCODF on Instagram, to see Blake doing his best impersonation of an influencer, it is very funny. I would recommend.
Really
Shooting those was something.
Yeah, it's really funny. It is really funny. The City of Dried Fountains out now. You can watch it on YouTube.
On YouTube. Maybe on other services later, but right now it's on YouTube.
Yeah. Congrats. So exciting.
Thanks.
So exciting.
I'm excited.
Yes.
We're ready.
We're ready. So with that exciting news, let's kind of get into today. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this movie.
Let's go.
I just rewatching this was definitely an experience, but I had a great time.
Yeah. I don't want to talk too much about it because I had a lot of thoughts on like the film as a rewatch compared to what I thought the first time around.
Yes.
But if you happen to be a part of the chat and you don't know what the movie is about, it is a mockumentary that follows 3 vampires, Viago, Deacon, and Vladislav, who are struggling with the mundane aspects of modern life, like paying rent, keeping up with the chore wheel, trying to get into nightclubs, and overcoming flatmate conflicts. As, hundreds of year-old vampires.
Yeah. So this movie, I think
it's as absurd.
Yes, it is as absurd as it
imagine.
sounds. But I think it is also important to note kind of the timeline of like how this movie as it came to be, because originally it started out as a short film in 2005 with all with Taika, with Jermaine, with everybody. Dad, you did not introduce said movie to me. I knew about it already. You just wanted to watch it, and we watched it one night. Anyway,
Cute.
But actually, maybe he did introduce it to me. I feel like I've just always known about it, but maybe he was the one that was like, no.
You just popped into existence like What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
That's coming.
Yes.
That's coming.
It's coming.
I gotta be prepared.
But yeah, it was they made a short film which was only half an hour, back in 2005, with like the same concept. Obviously, they played the same characters, and that was kind of to get funding for the movie that ended up being made. Which I think is pretty fun. I kind of like when directors do that, when they're like, okay, I have this vision, I don't have enough money to make it right now, but here's what I want it to look like. And then, they get the funding for it, and they're like, okay, let's make this movie.
I think, the idea of doing proof of concept films is so cool. And
Yeah.
I love that you get a documented journey of
Mm-hmm.
that film
Mm-hmm.
of like where it started versus what it ends up being, and
Yeah.
like you see how the creators themselves changed
Mm-hmm.
in that process. It
Yeah.
is very fun. And we kind of get like three installments of it with this because we have the short film, we have the movie, and now we have the TV show,
And
which I
there's,
think are all
yes, there's
very
also,
different.
they are all very different. There's also a spin-off show um, called Wellington Paranormal that is on HBO Max. And it,
I didn't know that.
yeah, it features the two cops that find them when they're all having like a disagreement, and yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. So
Oh,
it is spun off. It is definitely reigned in popularity. But here's the fun thing. I mean, we didn't even, okay, hold on. Before I kind of get into all of that, I will explain, you know, the people who are involved with it. But we've got Jermaine Clements, writer director, and he stars as Vladislav. Taika Waititi, of course, also writer director, stars as Viago. We have Johnny Brew, who stars as Deacon, and Corey Gonzalez Maker. I'm gonna probably say that wrong, but it's okay. Starring as Nick, um, and so our main three vampires are Vladislav, Viago, and Deacon, and they all live together in this New Zealand like house, um, and you know they're going about their daily lives and you know doing stuff, waking up at 6 p.m. Instead of 6 a.m. and praying that the sun's not out. Um, and then along their way, they meet this guy named Nick, who originally they were supposed to like eat. But the one older vampire who's supposed to be like the Nosferatu vampire who lives in the basement, Peter, he turns Nick into a vampire. And so he's obviously Nick is like a new vampire living in this like kind of modern world. And so they deal with like trials and tribulations of like, you know, him kind of being like, oh, I'm a vampire, I'm so cool, and you know, all that stuff. It's a really, really fun film. And just yeah, it's just really cool. But I will say, okay, kind of back to my original point that I was
uh-huh.
trying to make, is that this movie was not popular when it was first released. Um, it they had originally they had a U.S. distribution lined up, but it had to be canceled because they didn't have enough money. So eventually they did like a Kickstarter campaign that funded like screenings in the U.S. and it kind of just like snowballed from there. And I think it ended up being one of the most, if not the most, like pirated movies like of like 2014, 2015, because people were like trying to watch it because they wanted to watch it, but they like couldn't find it
Didn't
anywhere.
get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just think that's pretty cool and also a testament to Jermaine Clement and also Taika Waititi as filmmakers in this instance that they were able to make this piece of art, um, you know, that so many people wanted to watch and obviously inspired so many, you know, different iterations like the show and the spin-off show. So yeah.
I love the just hardcore in this instance.
Listen,
Allie.
Taika is a hack, and right now Taika's a hack. I won't get into it though. I will, for the sake of remaining sane, not go into the full thing. But I think that he has unfortunately sold out in today's day and age. But he really was. I mean, if you look at like his past films, like he was making like some really cool and like powerful things, and then as soon as he got like Hollywood money, it just kind of like um that's my opinion. No one has to agree with it.
I was gonna say, I don't feel like I know enough about his career
mm,
to really. I didn't he start as a painter? Like he didn't start making movies until he was in his 30s or something?
that I don't know.
I vaguely remember reading that somewhere.
Okay,
Let me fact
interesting.
check myself
Okay,
before I start
interesting.
just lying on Maine.
But he's made like some really incredible films like Boy, Hunt for the Wilder People. Um,
Oh, that's
oh my
right.
god, yeah. I'm like now I'm unfortunately blanking on like all of his good movies. Um, but he just was really passionate, and then I feel like when he got Hollywood money, like it was just like obviously like Thor Ragnarok is iconic in and of itself. Um, yes.
Well, okay, I was right. He is a painter.
Okay, cool.
And started there.
Cool.
What? Let's stick on this slander for half a moment.
No, it's not even slander. It's just like I just think that now he's not making good movies, and he made good movies in the
Well,
past. That's
but
it.
what has he made? What has he made outside of, like, obviously the girlies were not a huge fan of Love and Thunder.
No,
I personally did not see it, so I can't
you're not
speak
missing much.
to it. But like, okay, maybe this is gonna open up a whole other can of worms. This is
I'm
not
like,
a Taika episode. This isn't what we do in the shadows episode.
I know we can't get into it too much.
Just for the sake of
Sure,
argument.
Sure.
What did you think of Jojo Rabbit? Okay, the face says everything I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought.
I think we disagree on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. Tabled for another day.
Tabled
another
for
episode.
Tabled for another episode. For another episode. Because I really, if I get into it, I will get into it.
Because I feel like he did Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah.
And then
which is great.
And then Ragnarok. And then Jojo Rabbit.
And
then Love and Thunder.
My dad brings up a good point. Is our flag means boring. Point blank period. That one too.
You know what? I hate to cause fights in the chat. I disagree. I love that show. Sorry, babes. I thoroughly enjoyed our flag means death.
Yeah, but maybe one day we can do like a whole like Taika episode, and we can like kind of get into the yeah. Everyone does credit Our Flag to Taika, but it's technically not his show. It's Jermaine Clement's show.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, Taika's just in it.
I
still think
yeah, and he directed a couple of episodes, but he's not like.
I still think it's boring.
It's not his.
You know, whatever.
You know what? You're entitled to your wrong opinions, babe. I simply disagree.
You're
I don't
entitled
know
to your wrong opinion as well.
Thanks. He's directing now. This is the last thing I will say, and then we'll move on.
Sure.
He's directing the Tower of Terror movie that's in pre-production.
Yeah, I know.
And he's also working on the Time Bandits TV series. Now, friends and family, just real quick, what do we think of the Time Bandits movie? Because I rewatched that recently, and I have many a complex thought that we will not get into today, but it did not hold the same energy that I thought it did when I was a child. The ending of that movie is insane.
I have never seen Time Bandits, so I cannot answer this question. We've had this discussion. You've asked me the same
Probably
question.
because I rewatched it and I was so shocked by the ending that I was like, I need to discuss this.
Yeah,
and it seems like
like,
you would
have you seen Time Bandits? And I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay. I think we should do an episode on Time Bandits.
Okay.
And I think everybody out there should go watch Time Bandits so that we can discuss that batshit ending.
Okay, great.
Okay. That's your homework for the week. Okay. Everybody go watch Time Bandits.
Okay.
We're talking about it at some point.
Noted.
But this week we're talking about what we do in the shadows. Let's rein it in.
Let's rein it back in.
Oh, so real, Mr. Pateros. Not making it to the ending of Time Bandits. Period. Understood. It's bizarre. Okay.
Speaking of bizarre, I'm trying to find a segue. I can't.
This movie is
It is
Not
bizarre,
but it
actually.
was fun.
But do you know what's also fun is that he got, because it's a mockumentary, right, about vampires
Mhm.
in New Zealand, and he got like the New Zealand like documentary board to like sign off on it as like a documentary. Like that I think is what makes me the most happy.
I love it. It feels so real
Yeah.
and official.
And it feels so real and official. I will also say maybe we can kind of get into this in like the meteor
One
like
moment.
one moment.
I'm gonna just one moment.
Okay. She said one moment. Do 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 do.
I'm back.
You good?
My fan just turned on by itself.
Oh.
I was like, all right, ghosties. I'm a little busy at the moment.
I was saying maybe I can kind of get into this in like the takes portion of the show, but one of the things I do love, because I love like vampire media, I think vampire media is really fun, and there are a lot of different fun tropes to play with. And one of my favorite tropes of all time, because you know the vampire media is taking itself seriously when this trope is in it, is the vampire has to be invited into a space to go in.
Yes.
And they utilize this so well because they want to like go out to like the bars and the clubs or whatever, but they can't go in unless they're invited in like by the bouncer or, you know, like by someone. And our three like main characters, oh my god, Viago, Vladislav, and Deacon, they of course are like old-timey vampires, so they dress in like strange-ish clothing, so bouncers really are just like, no, like do not come in. But when they make friends with Nick, like, you know, he's like, yeah, my friend's a bouncer at that club, like I can get us in. And it's just I just love that. And so I love the way that they just like play with that trope too, is you have to be invited in.
Yeah, I'll hold it for the takes,
Okay.
but they do a lot of really fun things with vampires in this.
Yes, they do.
And
with
that
vampire tropes
is part of why we picked this, because Renfield is out now.
Yeah.
Came out on a Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really excited. I don't care that the reviews are bad. I want it to be good, and I will be going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I will be living in denial and saying that it's good no matter how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
I love that concept as well.
Yeah. It's a good.
And it reminded me of this.
Yeah. It's a good. Yeah, that's why we picked What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, here we are.
Renfield. Yeah, it's just crazy. Like one of the most pirated movies of 2014, 2015. Not Nicholas Brunt, Nicholas Holt. The other one, the other Nicholas.
Yes.
But yeah, I just think it is really fascinating, kind of the life that this film has like taken over like the course of, you know, the past decade, almost 9 years. It did take them, sorry, one more quick thing and then we'll move on, but it did take them like a good like year to edit it, because they shot like 125 hours of footage, and they had to whittle that down to 90 minutes. First of all, insane.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And then I saw a little like fun fact to that fun fact
Mm-hmm.
that was like the filmmakers have considered releasing all of that footage and letting fans cut their own version of the movie. And personally, that sounds like the best time.
That sounds
I would love
really fun
to just see everybody's like personal What We Do in the Shadows movie.
Yeah.
I think that'd be so cute.
Yeah, I think that would have been really cool. This movie also, a lot of this is a big talking point with fans on Twitter, but they're like, oh my god, 90% of this movie was improv. No, 90% of this movie was improv, like genuinely, like actually. Like Taika and Jermaine had a script and they wrote like 125 pages of script, but they didn't really like show it to anyone. they kind of were just like, okay, like this is like the scene, like let's just like play with it, or like, okay, this is our starting point and this is our ending point, but like what happens in the middle, like, you know, doesn't, like, let's see kind of like what happens. And I think also that that is such a interesting, obviously we don't do that now because like no one has money, but because this was like, you know, indie budget film, and they were in their hometown, Wellington, New Zealand. Also, lots of Lord of the Rings references in this movie, which I think is really funny too. In this, not in like dialogue, but in like location wise. Like if you look, I think they're on a hill one night, where like Frodo and Sam are like climbing the hill to like Mount Doom, which I think is really funny. But yeah, it's just a lot of love like went into this film, and you can tell because it is like such just a fun piece of vampire media. And again, they had the concept, they made the short film, got funding, made the full film. There's 125 hours of footage of this movie. Like, that's crazy.
And I would watch it all.
Yeah.
I want to see the stupid shit that they were like, we can't put this in there.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of things that you love.
Yeah.
Let's pop on over to the sizzle reel, baby.
Let's do it.
The sizzle reel week. Showing y'all a trailer.
Of course.
That is near and dear to Luna's heart.
Yes, baby. I'm so excited. We are gonna watch the Marvels teaser trailer.
Ooh.
So please sit back, relax, enjoy while we watch this. And I hope it plays. Oh my god, what's happening? Oh, I pressed the wrong thing. Okay, here we go.
Captain Rambo? What the hell are you doing?
Entering the jump point perimeter.
I'm gonna get you some readings, Fury. Hello?
Monica.
Hello?
Captain Rambo?
Is this an Avengers test?
Where's Captain Rambo?
What the? Hi.
We're looking for Kamala Khan.
Okay, so our powers are entangled. I can manipulate light energy. And you, I could totally show you. Not again! Hi.
Where's our daughter?
Wherever you were.
Shields up!
We're a team.
Oh, no, we're not a team.
We're not a team.
I am so incredibly
How
excited.
excited are you?
I am so incredibly excited. Oh my god. Hold on. Let me find a fun. Where's the Flurkin part? No, you know what? We'll just sit on Brie because I like looking at Brie. I am so incredibly excited for this movie. Ever since they announced that they were going to be doing it, we have Captain Marvel, and then we have Ms. Marvel, and then we have sort of also Captain Marvel with Monica, and obviously Carol Danvers, Brie Larson, Captain Marvel introduced to us, you know, in her movie. Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel. Everyone go watch the Ms. Marvel show on Disney Plus. It is, yes, Dad, Saturday Hall H. Yep. Yep. It will be there. Iman Vellani, who plays Kamala Khan, is so good. And also the Ms. Marvel Disney Plus show is actually like really good, and I feel like not enough people watched it. So please watch it. This is me telling you to watch it, please. And then Monica Rambeau, not to be confused with Maria Rambeau, who is Carol's best friend back in the 90s before everything went higgledy-piggledy.
AC.
Yeah, Monica is Maria's daughter, who also had a relationship with Carol like when she was younger. So it'll be very fun and very interesting to see them kind of butt heads, because I'm sure she's pissed at Carol for,
disappearing.
Literally disappearing on her.
Just one.
Isn't that so cute? Yeah, I'm really excited for this. Obviously, come on, Intergalactic, the perfect.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. The perfect song choice.
If there's one thing that all of the creative people behind the Marvel's plotline are gonna do, it's have the best needle drops in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, every single time. Just a girl in Captain Marvel?
Oh my god.
Come on.
Yeah, that was one of the best needle drops they've ever done, like, genuinely.
So good.
Yeah, that was really good.
Oh, good.
The quote-unquote official synopsis from IMDb, Carol Danvers gets her powers entangled with those of Kamala Khan and Monica Rambeau, forcing them to work together to save the universe. And it is directed by Nia DaCosta, who most recently directed the Candyman remake,
which was so good. If you are of the horror proclivity, it's not the right word, but we're running with it.
Yeah.
Go, and you haven't seen the new Candyman, go watch the new Candyman. Yeah. I did not expect it to be good, and it was so good. Yeah. Delightful. Yeah. So to see the Marvels, you need to have already seen Captain Marvel, WandaVision, and Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Obviously, all of which are on Disney Plus. One is a movie, and the other two are short, limited series. So it's not a ton of content, but it's a little bit of content.
Yeah. Well, you have until November, though, so, like, hello.
You got some time.
You got some time. And it's, again, I am just advocately, they are giving people homework these days.
No, seriously.
Yeah, if you want kind of the fullest knowledge going into this movie, you should watch all three. And again, I am sitting here in front of you begging you to watch Ms. Marvel, because it is like one of the best, not just Disney Plus shows, but just one of the best things that Marvel has like put out. Like, it's so good. And Iman Vellani, again, who plays Kamala, is just so brilliant as that character, and just really like breathes just so much life into her. Like, oh, so good. So yeah.
I'm just a girl in front of a camera begging the people to watch Miss Marvel.
Begging the people to watch Miss Marvel on Disney Plus. They don't pay me, but they should.
Seriously. Doing the promo out here.
Right. Anyway, yeah, The Marvels out in November. I don't know if we have a specific release day yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be Thanksgiving week, because I feel like that's when their slots usually are.
They want to capitalize on everybody being home for the holidays and needing something to do.
Yeah. Let's see.
The age-old time. November 10th
Oh,
is
November
the
10th.
expected date.
Okay. So probably,
But
yeah,
around there.
yes. Ms. Marvel definitely reminds me, yes, of Raimi's Spider-Man 2. 100%, Lewin. I agree. It has the same.
Ooh,
It has the same like just heart in it. So good.
that.
Love that. Anyway, now that we've taken a brief Marvel break and I got to stare at Brie Larson for a little bit. Thank you for letting me do that.
Back to the matter at hand.
Back to the matter at hand.
Your deep-seated beef with Taika Waititi.
I don't have beef with him. I don't. No, I'm putting aside my beef today to discuss this movie because I love this movie. Rewatching it now because when I first watched it as a teenager back in 2015, very different experience than when I rewatched it now. I still think it holds up. Some of the things, because we're coming from different aspects here because I have not seen the TV show. And I know you have.
Okay. And that, I think, really is why, like, I had such a different experience on the rewatch of this. Because I totally agree. I think this holds up. I think it's still funny. I really enjoy it. I got no critiques here. Thoroughly enjoyed. But the humor of it is very different than the humor of the TV show.
Sure.
In, like, where it's worded. They play on the same things because it's the same premise, just a different location. The TV show takes place in Staten Island, for those of you who may not know. So it's not New Zealand. But for me, I feel like the biggest difference is that the movie has this almost kind of frat energy to it, which makes sense for the characters that we're watching and for the environment that they're in. But the TV show really doesn't. It has a much, like, softer and... I don't know. Softer is the best word that I got off the top of the dome at the moment. Energy to the jokes. And so I have a soft spot in my heart for the TV show because I think it really just plays on the humanity of these inhuman characters, and the movie is just going for a different vibe.
Yeah.
And now that I have the TV show to compare it to, I'm like, oh, still good, just not what I remember it being.
Yeah. I do also really like this movie. Again, we're talking about like vampire, like this is vampire media. Like these are like vampire tropes up the wazoo, but in like such fun ways. Like we've got one of my favorite, so like the crucifixes, obviously, vampires and crosses are not simpatico.
Friends.
Yes, they're not friends. And one of the things one of my favorite parts, well, one, there's like title cards in the beginning talking about how, like, oh, the documentary crew was all granted access and they all wear crucifixes, when they're filming, blah, 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 whatever. And then there's like one scene where like a vampire hunter like gets into their house, and he's wearing a crucifix, but it's kind of hidden, and I forget who, but someone like opens like his like jacket to like look and like see if he has weapons, and there's a crucifix, and they just start like hissing. They're like like and then they just like cover it back up, and like everything's complete. Like they just keep going.
They just move on.
They just move on, and that like cracks me up because I'm like, yeah, it's such a vampire trope is Catholicism.
The amount. But the amount of hissing that goes on,
I know,
in this movie is so... When they get angry at each other, they have fangs, but they don't even, like, bare the fangs. They just, like, hiss.
Yeah.
In this totally non-threatening, but hilarious way.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
It's just so fun.
Also, at one point, they transform into bats and start fighting each other as bats, and everybody just chants bat fight around them. And I was crying.
Yeah. Bat fight, bat fight, bat fight. Like, it's so good. Because again, like, it takes itself seriously, but at the same time, like, does not. Like, they're like, yes, these are all, you know, tropes of like classic like vampire media, and obviously like we're going to partake in those, but at the same time, like, this is just a movie about like dudes who like turn into vampires and live together, or attempt to live together.
One of the things that, because it pokes fun and like finds a lot of humor in the realities of being a vampire.
Yeah.
One of the things that they really don't do that in, and they easily could have, but I found it really interesting, is the way someone transitions into becoming a vampire. Because a lot of the time when you see it in most media, it's like they die and they're drained of blood, and then they wake up with glowing eyes and they're a vampire now, and it's like there's no real transformation process, and it's very pretty and sanitized. And in this, when Nick gets changed, he like disappears for a week, and he's just like pouring blood out of his eyes. He has to watch his reflection fade. He's losing it.
Yeah.
And it looks incredibly painful.
Yeah.
And it's this long drawn out process. And I was like, see, now that is a different interpretation on what it is. And I thoroughly enjoy it because it feels a lot more upsetting, and it makes their reaction to becoming vampires and like the way they choose to live their lives even more chaotic, because you're like, you really went through all of this and this is how you act. You're worried about the chore wheel.
Yeah.
There's like
you're worried about the chore
we're arguing
wheel.
about dishes.
Yeah. He's like, you haven't done, just got that caught. He's like, you haven't done the dishes in like 5 years. And he's like, why are we doing dishes? We're vampires. Like, whatever. And they kind of get into it. Yeah, that just cracks me up, because again, like, they're trying to like be human, but at the same time, they're still very much, you know, not.
Yeah.
I also like that this plays with, you know, other supernatural beings. We have a group of werewolves. Werewolves, not swearwolves.
Werewolves, not swearwolves.
So good. So good. And they of course have, you know, a very childish rivalry with the vampires. And they like get into it multiple times with each other, and it's just so, like, it just makes me laugh because I'm like, this is so stupid. Like, I love it. Like, what are all these supernatural creatures doing in New Zealand of all places? Like,
They're simply hanging out.
they're just hanging out, living their lives. Yeah.
And I love that every single time someone goes, yeah, this is like the hottest spot for New Zealand vampires, and they walk in and it's just empty. It's just them and like 3 other people.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Oh my God.
understood. It's a small community.
Yes. And one other thing that I kind of really love about this movie, the character of Stu, who plays Nick's friend, he's just kind of this like regular dude who our main 3 vampires like fall in love with, essentially, because he's just this like IT dude, and he like helps like, you know, give them like internet and computers and blah blah blah. But also like that guy, like Stu, like he, like, going into the making both of the short film and kind of like the main film, did not realize like how big of a part he was gonna have. And so he originally thought that they brought him on just to do like IT stuff, and then Taika and Jermaine were like, no, get in front, you're in the scene, and so like he like legitimately like was like, he's like, yeah, I work in IT, like that's literally what I do. He's not an actor.
That's because he's so good.
Yeah, he's so good. But that's literally just him like being himself, like just being this like dude who works in IT.
Straight man to all of their crazy.
Yeah.
I love that every time a vampire meets him, they're like, oh, you got really red cheeks. She's got really good circulation. I'm like, dude, they're gonna eat you. You haven't figured this one out yet?
But he like doesn't, and that's what's so funny though, is he's so like nonchalant just about like being friends with vampires. He's like, yeah, okay, like whatever, like, you know,
It's just a guy.
yeah. And one of my
Hanging out.
favorite scenes is when you know, he's like showing them the computer and like how to do it, and they're like, oh my gosh, like, can we watch, you know, a video of a sunrise? I love that because, again, like, vampires can't go out in the sun because they will die. They will burn into flames. They will burst into flames. And so I just thought that was really just a fun thing. Just be like, oh my God, let's watch a video of a sunrise. Like, that's so cute. Like,
And it was interesting going through like the reviews because obviously you have the people who have found it and love it and they sing nothing but its praises. But every time you find a critical review, it's always like, it just doesn't have a point. There's no plot. It's long and meandering. And I'm like, okay. It's not a real documentary, first of all.
yeah.
Second of all, the point it's making is not about the plot. I as someone who has always loved fantasy and like supernatural things, I love it when somebody takes the time to create media that like actually explores what the realities of that would be instead of just creating like another adventure story. And if I hit my mic one more time, I'm gonna cry.
It's gonna be fine.
Um
Yeah, I agree.
So I like that. To me was the most fun thing about rewatching this. It's just getting to see they clearly put so much thought into what it would actually be like to exist that long as a vampire and what the real like challenges would be. And I love it. I think it's really smart and funny and well done. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like, they wrote a script, but like most of what you're seeing on screen is the actors just like playing off of each other, and, you know, with Taika and Jermaine giving the direction of like, okay, this is our beginning point, this is our end point. How we get there doesn't matter, but that's where we need to go. So I love that. Yeah, and Lewin, agree. Yeah, the idea of finding the mundanity in supernatural ideas, like, just it's
because it's in existence just like everybody else.
Yeah,
they've got the things that irritate them, that are boring, that they don't like, that they want to change, just like we do. I do think it was funny the amount of people who wanted to be turned into vampires. They were like, turn me. I'm like, you met these people? You met these 3 guys, and you were like, yeah, that's the life I want.
right.
I want to be doing this for forever.
You want to live forever? You want to live forever?
Okay.
The beauty of life is that it ends, because we know that there's a beginning and an end. That's what makes life worth living. You want to take that away and drink human blood?
I'm good. I don't think I want that.
I don't need that.
I also don't want to have flatmates for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I don't need that. I don't need
good.
that. Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, before we wrap up this discussion, but another one of my favorite vampire tropes is no reflections. And the way they get around that is by, first, before they meet Stu, like, kind of like drawing each other, like, very poorly to try and describe, like, how they look. And then Stu, like, introduces them to digital cameras and is like, you can do that, like, you know, whatever. Like,
Self now.
Yeah, because it's technically not a reflection, but it's, you know, a photo. So that's, again, yes, playing with, you know, the supernatural as, like, something that is just so mundane and just everyday, like, these everyday occurrences that they have to go through and, like, deal with is just so fun. And, like, I feel like not a lot of, like, supernatural media has really done that since. Obviously, the What We Do in the Shadows TV show plays into that. I'm sure the Wellington Paranormal, which is the spin-off show featuring the 2 cops that, like, go in and, like, they get I forget what the word is. Not hypnotized, but, you know, they
call it hypnotism in the show, in the movie.
But, you know, that features them. I'm sure that also, again, plays into those things. But I'm like, I feel like I haven't really seen anything. Maybe Renfield. I'm sure. Well, that's kind of the whole plot of Renfield, is that it's hindering his Renfield's everyday life being Dracula's servant, and when he's just trying to live kind of his normal life. So, but again, like, not really, something that
We go to those places like to escape and for the fantastical elements of it, and so I don't know. I think there is interest from the public in those kinds of stories, but I don't know how interested studios are in funding those stories. So, I would love to see more of it.
Yeah, it's such a fun thing to play with, and yeah, this movie again does it really, really well, and it's just such a treat it's just so, like, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is so fun to watch.
And if you enjoyed this movie, you will love the TV show. Yeah. You in particular would love
I know.
The TV show.
I just haven't sat down to watch it yet.
It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
Everybody. Yeah. That is the one thing. What We Do in the Shadows, the movie, you have to rent it. It's not streaming anywhere, which is silly. But the TV show is streaming on Hulu.
Yeah, it's very silly that it's not streaming anywhere, but whatever. Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows. Lots of fun.
And if you enjoy this, go see Renfield.
Yeah.
Ignore the reviews. Go see it anyway. I'm genuinely so upset that it's not getting good reviews.
What if it's not getting good reviews because it's not a good movie?
No. Thank you. No.
Okay.
I refuse.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage's Dracula? That's all I've ever wanted.
Fair.
Come on.
But you know who is in it?
Can't be bad.
But you know who's in it, though?
Who's in it?
Awkwafina.
You and the Awkwafina beef goes deep.
It's not even beef. She's just not a good person.
You just don't like her.
She's just not a good person. I don't know what to say.
I know literally nothing about her, so.
Anyway. What We Do in the Shadows film, you can stream.
Stop normalizing Awkwafina.
You can't stream What We Do in the Shadows. You can rent it on Amazon Prime, or on YouTube, or anywhere else that you can rent movies.
Indeed.
Yeah, if you want a little more vampires for your spring.
Oh yes.
Rewatch.
Their favorite time of year.
Yeah.
And now, it's time for my favorite segment of the week, your favorite segment of the week, everybody's favorite segment of the week. It's Hot or Not, baby.
It's Hot or Not.
And boy, howdy, do we have a range this week.
Yeah, we do.
There's a lot happening in the world.
There's a lot happening. Every day I wake up. End of statement.
Every day I wake up.
No, every day I wake up and I'm like, what's happening?
Every time Discuss Film tweets, I'm like, what now?
What's happening?
Another one?
Another one?
No more.
Another one? First and foremost, Kate. Hot or not? Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones starring in the Twister Legacy sequel entitled Twisters.
Listen, I'm gonna be a traitor to my brand and a coward.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I know that I have talked many a dirt on a Legacy sequel that is unnecessary. But this is the hottest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. This movie was made for me. You want to talk about pulled from the brain cells that I didn't know I had? This.
Yeah.
Babes, first of all, I love Twister. I think we talked about it already because I rewatched it before an episode once and I was like, God, I love this movie. I love that movie so much. I love Glenn Powell and I love Daisy Edgar Jones and I would love to see them in a Twister's Legacy sequel. That is an absurd thing to me that I never thought we'd get, but oof. Yes, Twisters, baby.
And
I will be sad.
As I was literally about to say it, Minari's Lee Isaac Chung directing. very iconic, very hot. Fire
I'm
emojis
toasty.
everywhere. Yeah.
Hot
it's
as hell.
toasty. It's toasty.
So
it's
hot.
toasty. It's toasty.
Now, Luna,
Yeah.
hot or not,
Uh-huh.
HBO Max and Discovery announcing their new streaming service, Max, which will have tiers with ads, ad-free, and ultimate ad-free.
Do I need to say anything?
No, I don't think anything needs to be said
I'm
at all.
throwing
Actually, you know what I think
tomatoes.
needs to
I'm
be
throwing
said?
tomatoes.
This is the only thing that needs to be said.
Yeah.
After they announced this, Warner Discovery's stock dropped 6%.
Yeah, I know. Because
that
why
Warranted.
would you remove the HBO from your branded name? Like, why? That part of... I can't.
Wait,
I can't.
also, I don't actually know if we talked about this on the show, but we talked about this in person.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, they put out this, like, interview press thing, whatever, where they were like, yeah, we really think that the barrier to entry, like, we think that having HBO in the name really prevents people from wanting to see the content. In what universe? You have a brand that you have created and is known as one of the best content creation services in the market at the moment. You hear HBO and you're like, oh my God, that's going to be a good show, good production quality, and good writing. What the fuck is Max? Max and Ruby Babes? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Hate
David
it.
Zaslav is who's in charge, Mom. And he's the one making all these stupid decisions. Well, it's probably not just him. It's probably like him and a team of people. But still, when I was like, and also the fact that they're like with ads, ad free or ultimate ad free. The only difference between those last two tiers is that like the biggest one, like the highest tier, you can stream in 4K.
Ultimate ad free?
The ultimate ad free.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. That is the only difference.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yep.
I simply will not say anything.
It's not hot, in case
I
you
catch
guys didn't
anyone
know.
If I catch any one of you out here in these streets paying extra money to stream in 4K, I'm staging an intervention for you. I will be sitting you down. What are we
What are we doing? What are we doing?
doing?
What are we doing?
doing?
What are we doing?
Uh,
Okay.
So it's not hot.
Let's not get too heated. No pun intended.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Hot or not, the Little Mermaid remake runtime reportedly clocking in at 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Not.
Yeah. I mean,
For anybody at home wondering, playing along, do you want to know how long the original was?
isn't it like, it's under 90 minutes?
Film?
Isn't it under 90
It is
minutes?
125 minutes. It's 125 minutes. Where in the good goddamn did you find 50 more minutes of content in that story? 50? 50? Come on.
I know they
now.
added songs,
Be
but like,
serious.
girl.
50? 50 minutes of songs? What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Once again, I'm asking the public. What are we doing?
Once again, we are here on Hot Take stating that movies should not be longer than an hour and
45. An hour. And they could have, listen, we knew that they were going to extend it a little bit, all right? And that's fair. If they'd been like, this is an hour 45, I would have been like, that's a respectable time. I could see finding 20 more minutes of content in there for sure.
Yeah.
50? 50? Where? And how?
Donde? Where?
And for what? Anyway.
We'll see what happens. We didn't put this in the slides, but I just quick temperature check on Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon clocking in at 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Now here's can somebody check in on Marty? Can somebody check in on Marty? What's going on? What's going on there? Because he didn't always used to do this, and now I feel like the man doesn't know how to make a movie under 3 hours.
Yes, Lewin is right. Scorsese can do whatever he wants. However,
sure, but can somebody check in with him? Like, what's the deal?
4 hours.
Like, why not just make a limited series?
I don't know.
Give us 8 45-minute episodes. Why does it need to be 4 hours long? I don't understand.
Anyway.
I do think that's going to be good. I still think that title is metal as hell, and
Yeah.
I will be sat. But I guess I'm going to be sat with a long list of bathroom break times.
You're
like,
gonna
I'm
be
going to
sat for 4 hours, though.
Oh, my lord.
Oh my lord.
Luna.
Mm-hmm.
Hot or not?
Yes.
Mia Goth being cast in Blade.
Okay.
The new Blade remake. With Mahershala Ali.
I have mixed feelings. Because on the one hand, the Marvel fan inside of me is very excited to see Mia Goth in Blade. On the other hand, I'm like, oh, the MCU got another one. They got another one.
I do think it's funny that we're doing a vampire, like it's a vampire hunter movie in our vampire episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it could be good.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. I'm excited. We like don't know like her character or like anything. I don't know if it's confirmed that she's in Blade or if there's just rumors, but this is not her.
I think it's like in discussion.
Yeah. I just wanted to show everybody one of these photos that dropped from her on the Maxine set, and she looks great. Which is not related to Blade at all, but she's Mia Goth, so there you are.
Just Mia Goth, looking great.
Yeah, she looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I am excited, but again, I'm also like, ugh, every time like an actor makes the transition to do MCU stuff, I'm like, oh no.
Everybody's got to get their bag, and if they're not making anything else, then
that's true.
They gotta do what they gotta do.
That's true.
Can't blame the player. Blame the game.
Yeah. All right, but last and certainly not least.
Not at all.
Certainly not least. Hot or not, the Oppenheimer fake out. For a minute there, it seemed like it was going to concede the battle to Barbie on July 21st and be delayed until later in the year. But about 20 minutes later, the execs were like, no, it's still coming out on July 21st.
Was the 20 minutes of terror scary?
Yes.
Yeah. That was real scary for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still hot.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, we're gonna fake you out a little bit. Let's see how bad. How bad do you really want it? Do you want to see this movie? The answer is yes. I desperately need to be able to sit down at an Oppenheimer matinee and then end my day with Barbie.
Yeah.
And if you take that away from me, I will throw a tantrum.
Yeah.
I will turn into a 4-year-old. Please let me have this. Don't move the dates. I need to do this.
Yeah, Lewin's like, it needs to be the same weekend or else what's the point? Because part, I feel like, of the cultural intrigue behind both of these films is the fact that they are being released on the same day. And they're two obviously very wildly different movies.
Yeah.
I
think it would be a bad decision to move it.
Oh,
like, unless they really can't get the film done in time, I think
Yeah.
it's a bad decision to move it.
Yeah.
I the internet has so deeply latched on to being able to double feature these movies. Like, just let us have this,
Just let us
please.
have it. And also, I'm like, I've been seeing like promos for Oppenheimer since like July last year. Like, hello.
I'm also really excited. I think it's gonna be good.
No, I think it's gonna be bonkers. And again, Barbie is also gonna be bonkers, which is why I need to be able to double feature them. So don't take that away from me, or I will cry. Please.
Cry.
Please. But yes, the fake out was not hot, but the fact that they are still being released on the same day is very hot. You know.
Very hot indeed.
Yeah. And with that, we're coming to a close.
The universe is still intact.
Yeah.
We can still double feature Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yeah.
And so this is where we leave you.
And this is where we leave you. Happy Sunday, everybody. Thank you as always for hanging out with us. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at hottake_show, Letterboxd at hottakeshow, and always make sure you're subscribed. Next week we will be same time, same place, which is very exciting. Don't know what we're doing
We
yet,
will indeed.
but we'll find out.
We'll let you know.
We'll let you know.
Bye.
See you later.